Hi there. Welcome to the Birdie Session of your 8-week Yoga for Golfers series. For this class, you're going to need 2 blocks. Why don't we get started? So come to the middle of your mat. Give your shoulders a little roll, a little shake. So as we always do, we start with our rotational test. Bring the right hand just to shoulder height. And then turn and open to the right. Find the spot on the wall behind you where your fingers stop. And come back to center. Switch sides. So this rotational test is really about where you start and where you finish. It's not a comparison between classes, unless of course we're focusing on a particular part of the body. Now always notice where you start and where you finish. And if you see a greater rotation, for example, with our hip opening flow, or maybe with the upper body focus. But today is just going to be a little bit more challenging than the Par series. So let's get going. You're going to lay down on your mat. We're going to start in resting pose. So grab a block if you like. Tuck the block underneath your head. And then take your feet as wide as your mat. And then let your knees knock together. And choose a comfortable position for your arms. So maybe that's cactus arms or a little chest opening. Maybe just resting on your low belly is more comfortable for you today. Close your eyes down. And just allow your breath to come to you at its natural pace. Notice if there's any gripping through the hip flexors or the glutes. See if you can just relax the lower body. Relax your shoulders. So when we practice breathing and with the sole focus on the breath, we can really tune into that single-minded focus, which is really important for the golf game. Because the most important shot in golf is the next one. And so how often do we dwell on the putt that just slipped out, or the last time you played this hole, you leaked your driver right? Always focus on the present. And the easiest way to do that is to bring your attention to your breath. Maybe even as you practice this breathing, walking between shots, try and smell the grass. These are just little tricks that can bring you focused in the present and not anticipate or dwell on things that just happened. Let's take a nice big inhale through your nose. And exhale, release it out your mouth. Good. Go ahead and cactus the arms. We're going to start with windshield washer, but we're going to add a little twist. So if you're using a block, go ahead and set the block to the side. And then we're going to add some arm movement. So as your knees fall to the right, I want you to slide the backs of the hands on the mat and then reach your fingertips over your head, touch. And then as you exhale, bring the arms back to cactus, take the knees over to the left. So it's kind of like patting your head and rubbing your tummy. So inhaling, knees go right, hands reach overhead. And then exhale, knees go left, arms back to cactus. But what this is doing is warming up the shoulders, as well as the hips and the low back. Go ahead and do that one more time each side. Good, come back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Let's do some little circles with the low back on the mat. And then change the direction of your circles. Good. So now come to what I call reverse table. So bend your knees at 90. And then you're going to bring your hands down by your sides. So wrists and forearms push into the floor. Pull the belly button to the spine. Flex your feet. And now I want you to lower your right heel to the floor, tap, and then bring it back up. We're gonna do that 5 times, so nice and slow. So we're waking up the low abdominals. This is where the balance is. This is where we can make that shot with one foot in the bunker and the other foot in the rough. Good, 2 more. So inhale, lower. Exhale, bring it back up. So it's nice and slow and you're just tapping. So I want you to really just hover the heel. Good, switch sides and then do 5 on the other side. Notice if there's any tension in the jaw or your shoulders. See if you can release that tension. 2 more. Good, last one. And then hug your knees into your chest. Maybe a little rock at the low back side to side. Okay, so bring the soles of the feet together. Come into butterfly. We're gonna do another series of abs here. These ones focus on the low abs, but then we build to bring it up to the rectus abdominis. So bring your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. Line up your toes. And then a little bit of pressure between the soles of your feet and your toes. Take an inhale, prepare. And then exhale, you're gonna float your feet. Inhale, lower to a hover. Exhale, float. Good, do that 3 more times. So head and shoulders are heavy. Focus just on the low abdominals here. Last one. Good, now option to just lift the head and the shoulders off the mat and keep going with your heel raises. So inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Good, last one. Now, option to add a little crunch. So now, see if you can pick the bottoms of the shoulder blades off the mat. Last one. Good, release. Kick your legs long, reach your arms overhead, hook your thumbs together, make your hands like a little butterfly. And then roll over onto one side and we're gonna come into alligator. So you can do this with legs, knees bent at 90, or you can do it with the legs straight. So I'm gonna do it with legs straight today. So if your legs are straight, I want you to flex your feet. Now, if it's not comfortable for you to have your head on the mat, go ahead, grab a block, tuck it under your head like a pillow. I can get my block here. And then arms reach out at chest height, palms touch. I want you to think about starting the rotation with your abs. So as you inhale, take the top arm up. Let the shoulder fall behind you. Abs, exhale. Close, palms touch. Good, do that 3 more times. So think about this rotation as your backswing and your follow through. We're trying to train our abs to be engaged for thoracic rotation. Good, go ahead, switch sides. Again, if you like to have a block under your head. Good, so 4 times on this side. Really focus on When you start the rotation to close, pull the abs in. Last one. Good. Make your way to hands and knees. We're going to warm up the hips a little with fire hydrant. So hands are under the shoulders. Hips are over the knees. Push the left foot into the floor as you float the right knee. Flex the right foot. And now start to do some nice big circles with that right knee. And then change direction. Good. Pause at the top. Kick your right leg out to the side. And then sweep it around behind you. Land on the ball of the foot. Look over your left shoulder. Come back to center. Switch sides. So try and keep the hips level. It doesn't really matter how high that knee gets, as long as you're getting a nice big rotation here. Go ahead and change directions and see if you can keep your arms straight. Good. Pause at the top. Kick the left leg out to the side and then sweep it around behind you. Land on the ball of the foot. Look over the right shoulder. Come back to table. So tuck the toes and then take a seat. So sit back on your heels. So if sitting on your heels is not comfortable, go ahead, grab a block. Tuck the block underneath your bum. Let's just stretch those wrists out a little bit. So pull your left fingertips towards you. Keep your arms straight. And then point your left fingers down to the mat and then pull the top of your hand towards you. Good, and then switch sides. So as you pull your right fingertips towards you, make sure you catch your thumb. So often the thumb kind of hangs out in space here. Catch the thumb as well to stretch through the flexors. And then point your fingertips down to the mat. Good. And if this is crazy intense on your toes, you can always come up and then sink back down. Okay, release. Bring your hands to the floor, untuck your toes. Take the shoelace side of the foot to the mat. Bring your fingertips behind you. Now, for some, this may be enough of a stretch. If you're feeling like you have a little more, you can lift the knees until you feel a stretch through the top of the feet. Good. Bring your hands forward. Tuck the toes. Push the bum to the heels first and then lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Pedal out your heels. And then quiet your feet. Put a little bend in the knees as you push your chest towards your thighs. Good. Lower the knees down. So we're going to do a little bit of ab work here before we kick it off. So you can do this from table, or you can do it from modified plank. So to bring it to modified plank, step the knees back. Or you can do this from full plank. Good. So lower down onto the left forearm and then the right forearm. And then come on back up onto the right hand and the left hand. Lower back down. And see if you can control the sway. So there's a tendency to sway from one side to the other. So go nice and slow. And you can always transition to the next modification if you find that the low back is starting to niggle. Good. Okay, one more up, down. We'll meet in plank pose. Pull the abs in as you exhale, downward facing dog. Maybe you need to step your feet in a little bit. Soften the knees. Walk your feet towards your hands. Come into a forward fold. Bend your knees a lot. Bring your chest to rest on your thighs and reach for opposite elbow. Maybe a little sway of the upper body from side to side feels good. And then release your arms. Let your head hang. Keeping the knees soft, slowly roll up. One vertebrae at a time. Let your head be the last thing that comes up. And when it does, go ahead and shrug your shoulders up to your ears. And then exhale, roll them down the back. Good, do that again. Inhale, shrug up. Exhale, roll down the back. Good. So we're gonna do triangle pose, and then we're gonna do a revolved pyramid. So these tend to be really difficult for golfers because they focus on hamstring mobility and then also a thoracic rotation. So step your left foot to the top of the mat and then step your right foot back. You're gonna need a block. So bring a block to the inside of the left ankle. So for triangle pose, your back foot, your right foot can be either parallel with the mat, or you can actually turn it in a little bit. It really just, whatever makes your knee happy. So if your knee is not happy with your foot parallel, just bring your foot on a little bit of an angle, toes pointing towards the top of the mat. Now, turn on your quads. So often we lock our knees out here. I want you to have a little soft knees. Make your legs work. Good. Put your arms out to the side. Go ahead and hitch this left hip back. So hitch your left hip back, reach your fingertips forward, and then your hand finds the block. So left hand on the block, right hand up to the ceiling. So if there's shoulder issues, go ahead and bring the hand to the hip. Gaze is where it's comfortable for your neck. So if looking up at your thumb is just not comfortable, you can look at the side, wall, you can even look at the ground. Good. Look down to the ground for balance. Firm up the low belly. Inhale, lift the torso. Good. Okay. So now we're going to transition to pyramid. So I want you to turn. Instead of having your hips open, now I want you to come, take a half step in. Both toes point towards the top of the mat. Hip bones point towards the top of the mat. So we're going to progress into this one. So again, imagine you have headlights on your hips. Both are pointing straight forward. Right heel is grounded. Pull up on the quads, so engage your quads. Take an inhale, squeeze the elbows behind you. Now exhale, imagine folding over a table. So only go down as far as you start to feel stretched through that left hamstring. Keep squeezing the elbows behind you. Good. And then inhale, lift the torso. Okay, we're gonna do that again. Inhale, squeeze the elbows behind you. Exhale, start to hinge forward. Now maybe your right hand can land on the block. So keep your left hand on your hip, right hand's on the block. So if your hamstrings are just way too tight and you cannot get your hand to the block, go ahead and fold as far as comfortable, bring your hands to your hips. Good, inhale, lift the torso. Okay, so this last one, we're gonna add a rotation. So make sure those hips are square. Take an inhale, get nice and tall. And then exhale, fold forward. So right hand finds the block. So option A, take the left hand over your heart and then turn your chest to the left. Option B, if you feel like it's in your practice today, extend the left arm up. Keep rotating towards the left. Good. Bring your chest square with the floor, hands on your hips. Inhale, lift the torso. Whoo, good stuff. Okay, so let's come into triangle on the other side. So this time, right foot's forward. Grab your block again. Left foot's back. So triangle, your feet are a little bit further apart than the pyramid pose we just did. Reach your arms out to the side. Pull this left hip back. And then hitch your right hip back. Reach your fingertips past your toes. And then bring your right hand to the block, left arm to the sky. Look down on the ground for balance. And then firm up the low belly, lift the torso. Good. Turn the hips again to the top of the mat. Take a little half step in. And so toes are now pointing towards the top of the mat. Squeeze the elbows behind you. And then exhale, start to hinge forward. So we're going for a stretch through the right hamstring. Good. Inhale, lift the torso. Okay, so make sure your block is by your right ankle. Square the hips off. Exhale, lean forward. This time, left hand finds the block. So we're a little deeper now into this hamstring stretch. Think about a long line. So if I were to put a golf club on your back, the grip would touch your tailbone and the shaft would be touching your head. So nice and long and straight through the back line of the body. And then inhale, lift the torso. Good. So now we're going to add the rotation. So here we go. Exhale, hinge. Left hand finds the block. So pick your option. Right hand in the center of the chest. Rotate the chest. Or if it's comfortable, reach the right hand up towards the sky. Square the chest with the floor. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift the torso. Good stuff. Okay. All right. So we're going to now we're going to go and transition from triangle to half moon. So this one, you may want to do this using a wall. Now that we've opened through the hips, We've added a little bit of extra focus on the core. Come back to your triangle, left foot forward, right foot back. Good. Arms reach out to the side. Hitch that left hip back. Left hand finds the block. Right hand to the sky. Now start to bend into the left knee. Transfer the weight to the left foot. Look down to the ground for balance. And then you're going to start to transfer all the way to the left foot. Bring your block in front of your left foot. Lift your right leg as much as you can. Flex the right toes. And then to release, bend the left knee, land the right foot on the floor, and then come into reverse warrior. So keep the left knee bent, take the left arm up overhead. Good. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Go ahead and switch sides. So grab your block. This time, right toes point forward. Arms reach out to the side. Pull that right hip back as you reach your right fingertips forward. Hand finds the block. So if you're really flexible, maybe you can adjust the height of the block. So if you're doing this on a wall, it makes it a lot easier. Start to transfer the weight to that right foot. Look down on the ground for balance. So sometimes it's helpful if you take your hand to your hip, take a half step in, find your balance, and then start to float that left leg. Once you feel steady, maybe you add the arm. Good. And to release, bend the right knee. Land the left foot on the mat. Take the right arm up, reverse warrior. Good, and then exhale. Straighten your right leg. Okay. So hopefully you're feeling nice and open now through the chest. Hips are engaged, abs are engaged. So we're gonna come into what Catherine Roberts, the founder of Yoga for Golfers, called triplane motion. So bring the block to the inside of the left foot. Left foot's at the top of the mat. We're gonna go ahead and bend into the left knee. And I want you to come down. Good. So bring the back of the hand, left hand, to the inside of the left knee. Bring your right hand to the small of your back. This is just to open through the chest, to really start to set us up here. Good. Now that your chest is open, come into side angle. So bring the left elbow to the left knee, or handy dandy little block, bring your left hand to the block. So there's pressure between the left elbow and the left knee. And now I want you to reach your right arm up to the sky. So just like we did in alligator at the beginning of class, focus on the low abs, pull these low abs in, take an inhale, and then exhale, rotate the chest to the floor, bring the hand down, tap the block. Go ahead and do that 4 more times. So inhale, reach up, exhale, tap the block. So focus on the rotation with the abs, all the while keeping the lower body steady and engaged. 2 more. Good. Bring the right hand to the floor. Pop up onto those right toes. Easy twist. Take the left arm to the sky. Lower the right knee down. Go ahead and lift the chest. So we're going to come into a revolved lunge. There's a couple different ways that you can do this. You can keep the right knee down. Gives you a little bit more stability, allows you to get greater rotation. So go ahead and bring the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. And think about turning the belly button. Bring the palms together. So if this is enough, this is where you stay. If you want to amp this up a little bit, push down through the left foot as you float the right knee. Push the back of the right thigh up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back for plank pose. So from toes or knees, we're going to hold this for 10 breaths. Pull the tops of the shoulders towards the hips. Engage the lats as you pull the belly button all the way to the spine. Halfway there. Good. Lower the knees down if they're not already. Take a child's pose. So bring the big toes to touch. Forehead to the floor. Inhale, pull forward to table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take that right leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to chest. And then step your right foot between your hands. Lower your left knee down. Okay, so here we go on the other side. So keeping those left toes curled under. Take your left elbow to your right knee. Bring the palms together. Look up over that left shoulder. Option to start to float the left knee, coming into this revolved lunge. Good. Bring the hands down. You're going to drop that left heel. Lift the torso. I've got to turn around here. We're going to come into our side angle. So come down into that right knee. Bring the right hand to the inside of the knee. Bring the left hand to the small of the back. Turn on the lower body. Left hand finds the block. Open the chest. And then take the left arm up to the sky. So here we go with our block tap. So inhale, get nice and long. And then exhale, start the rotation in the lower body. Tap the block. So use your abdominals. Two more. Last one. Good. Bring the left hand down. Set the block to the side. Easy twist. Bring the right hand down. Step back to plank pose, second set of plank. So if you're just not feeling it from toes, go ahead, lower down to modified plank. Bring the knees down. Halfway there. One more inhale here. And then exhale, lower the knees down. Take a child's pose. Inhale, walk your hands back towards your knees. Then go ahead and lay down on your back. And come into bridge pose. So make sure you've got a block close by. So we're gonna start with regular bridge pose and then progress to single leg bridge pose. So grab your block. You're gonna tuck your block between your upper thighs and then bring your heels a little bit closer to your bum. Arms down by your sides. Forearms, wrists, hands push into the floor. Take an inhale, firm up the low belly. And then exhale, push into your feet, lift your hips. Good, so squeeze the glutes. Breathe. Feel a lengthening through the tops of the thighs. Stay for an inhale. And then exhale, lower down. Good. So set your block to the side. So the option is you can keep doing bridge pose, or you can join us for this single leg so that works the glutes individually. So take an inhale, prepare. And then exhale, lift the hips. Good. Press your forearms into the floor. Now inhale, kick your left leg up to the ceiling. And then exhale, lower just to hip height. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower. One more time, inhale, lift. And then exhale, bring the left foot down. Good, switch sides. Kick the right leg up to the sky. Lower just to hip height. So thighs are parallel, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, lift. And then bring the right foot down. Inhale, squeeze the glutes, hold. Exhale, lower down. Good. We're gonna do this one more time. Inhale. Exhale, lift up into bridge pose. Option to interlace the fingers. Roll the shoulders underneath. Lift a little higher. And then here we go. Left leg first. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. Lower. Good. Bring the left foot down. Square off the hips. Switch sides. Right leg. Flex the foot. 3 times. Then bring the right foot down. Take an inhale. Lift your hips a little higher. Hold for an exhale. Release the hands. Inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down. Good stuff. Draw the knees into the chest. Wrap your arms around your shins or maybe the backs of the thighs. Just give your low back a little rock from side to side. Good. So bring the feet back down to the mat. We're going to work those glutes and hamstrings again. Take figure 4. So bring the right ankle to the top of the left thigh. Bring your hands down by your sides. Take an inhale. And then exhale, lift the hips. So in your figure 4, lower your hips down just to a hover, and then exhale, press up. Good. Lower the hips to a hover. Exhale, press up. One more time. Lower on the inhale. Squeeze the glutes, press your hips to the ceiling. Good. And then lower all the way down. Take the arms to the side in a T. Keep the figure 4 legs. Let your knees fall to the left. Inhale, draw the knees back to center. And then we'll go ahead and switch sides. So left ankle to the top of the right thigh. Bring your arms back down by your sides. Firm up the low belly. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale, lower your hips just to a hover. Press up, exhale. 2 more. Last one. Lower all the way down. Keep the figure 4 legs, arms to a T again. Let the knees fall to the right. So remember, in this shape, think about opening this left hip. So push your knee down towards the bottom of the mat. Maybe you can look over the left shoulder if that feels good. Inhale, draw the legs back to center. Uncross your legs. So keeping the soles of the feet on the floor, arms to the side in a T. Firm up the low belly. And then you're going to kick your legs up to the sky. So if there are low back issues, it might feel better to bring the hands by the sides, maybe even tuck the wrists under the cheeks. So option here, you can do this with a straight leg, or we can start with bent knees. So bring the knees together. And then you're going to slowly start to take your knees over to the left. And then inhale back through center. So arms to a T works too. Inhale, take the knees right. Inhale, center. Back over to the left. So go as far as you can by keeping those shoulders nice and grounded. One more time on the right. Center. So if you found that super easy, here's the modification. Kick the left leg long. Take the knees to the right. And then inhale, center. Kick the right leg long. Take the knees over to the left. Come back to center, switch. So trying to keep the shoulders heavy, working through the abdominals, the core here. Take the knees over to the left. Good, center. So you can keep going with single legs, or if you feel really like you're up for a challenge, straighten both legs, flex your feet. Take your feet over to the right. Come back to center. So if the legs are extended, you may not go as far. See, ideally, we want to keep those shoulders on the ground. One more time over on the left here. Good, come back to center. Draw your knees into your chest. Just release those hip flexors. Good. So we're gonna set up for tree pose. So we're actually gonna do it on our back. So you're gonna need a block. So extend your legs long. And then you're gonna bend your right knee. Take the sole of the foot to the calf. But tuck your block underneath your thigh. So check in with your hips. So often our hips are gonna tilt to one side. So you can get your hips level. So you can do that by adjusting the height of the block. Maybe the block stays on its medium height. And then activate the left leg. So flex the toes, push through the heel, but really relax that right leg and the right hip. And then inhale, take your arms up overhead. So try cactusing the arms first. If the shoulders feel nice and flat to the back, like you're not popping off your mat, then try and extend the arms just to the point where you feel like your shoulders stay nice and flat. Maybe you can take the arms overhead and play with the position of your hands. Palms can be facing each other. You can keep the backs of the hands on the mat. Maybe you actually interlace the fingers. Keep the index fingers pointed. Close your eyes. Really focus on opening through the right hip. Breathe into the side ribs. Imagine you're standing on the left foot. So your left leg is active here. And then actively try and pull your shoulder blades down the back. Pull the rib cage in and down. So turn on your abs. One more breath here. Good. Bring your arms down by your side. Set your block over to the left side. Extend and do a little mini shavasana here. And I want you to notice how your right leg and your right hip feel. Good. So let's switch sides. So imagine you're standing on that right leg. So flex your right foot, quads turned on. Take the sole of the left foot to the calf. Grab your block. Check in with your hips. So make sure your hips are level. So maybe that means the block is on its medium height. Maybe you can bring it a little bit closer to the hip socket on its lowest height. Relax your left leg. And then choose whichever arm position works for you. Keeping in mind, we're drawing these ribs in and down. So abdominals are engaged. Shoulders are pulling down the back. Close your eyes and breathe. Allow your left leg to be completely supported by the block. One more breath here. And then as you exhale, bring your hands by your sides. Set the block to the side, take a mini shavasana. And notice how your legs feel. Maybe you can even take a little peek at your toes and see how far your toes fall to the side. Good. Gently roll over onto one side. So we're going to do a last little bit of hip work here. Extend the bottom arm up. So use your bicep like a pillow. Legs kick out to the bottom of the mat. And then I want you to bring your legs a little bit forward. They're not quite in line with your hips. Bring them forward. Your top hand rests in front of your chest. Good. So now you're going to raise the top leg, point the toes just to hip height. And let's do 10 circles forward. And getting calf cramp. And then 10 circles backwards. Good. Now flex the foot, inhale, lift the leg. And then point the toes, imagine you're going through molasses. Inhale, flex, lift the leg up. Point the toes, exhale, push down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, point. Good. Now bring your feet back in line with your hips. Keeping this top hand in front of your chest. Float the top leg just to hip height. And then you're going to inhale, kick it forward. Point the toes as you exhale, take it back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Good. One more time. Awesome. Bring the knees into the chest. Maybe give that hip a little bit of a massage. So these 2 little muscles here, this piriformis and the glute med, strengthening these muscles for golfers is really important in helping avoid sway or slide. We're going to switch sides. So again, using your bicep as a pillow, extend your legs long, bring them a little bit forward. So if you found balancing on your hip bone was super easy the last time, instead of having the hand in front of the chest, you can bring the hand to the hip. So inhale, float the top leg, point the toes. Exhale, flex like you're going through molasses. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower down. So activate those inner thighs. Good. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Good. So point the toes. Raise the leg just to hip height. Let's do those 10 circles forward. So nice and quick. Good. And then 10 circles backwards. Awesome. Sweep the legs back in line with your hips. So this one's a little more challenging to stay balanced on that side. The core has to be engaged. So engage your entire abdominal core. Float the top leg. Inhale, sweep it forward. Point the toes, exhale, sweep it back. Good. 3 more. So you can take the leg as far back as you can hold and not fall over onto that bottom bum cheek. Good. Once you finish 4, draw the knees into the chest. Give that hip a little massage. Okay. Roll over onto your back. Grab your block. So you're going to need both blocks here. And we're going to come into recline butterfly. So bring the soles of the feet together. And then tuck your blocks underneath your thighs so that you can completely relax through the groin and the hip. So maybe your blocks are on their medium height and you can adjust how wide you take them. And then cactus the arms. So see if you can adjust yourself so that your shoulder blades slide nice and flat to the mat. Close the eyes down. Release any tension that you may feel in your neck, your jaw, or across your chest. Maybe you can wiggle the blocks a little bit wider. And then ease back down into this butterfly shape. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Bring your hands to the outsides of your thighs. Gently draw your knees together. So since we have our blocks here, turn your blocks so that they're on their lowest height. And then for final Shavasana, you're going to land your thighs on the blocks. So you may need to move them away from you so that it's comfortable. And then toes fall out to the sides. Take your hands away from your body. Palms can face up or down. Close the eyes down. And we'll finish with 3 nice relaxing breaths. So exhale all the air out. Take an inhale through your nose. And release it out your mouth. Do that again, nice big inhale. And release. Last one. And release. Allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm without thought or effort. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Gently start to wake up your wrists and ankles by rotating them. And then on an inhale, just slide your ankles together, come off the blocks. Reach your arms up overhead. Maybe hook your thumbs together for a nice big long stretch. Just mindful of the props. Gently roll through one side. Maybe stay there for a breath or 2. And then make your way to standing. And we'll finish with our rotational test. Starting with the right hand, just to shoulder height. And then turn and open to the right. And come back to center. Good, switch sides. Good. Well, well done. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Namaste.